Because there's people that come up, we've heard there's people that was born here and all of this stuff, and because their parents didn't have the passport or anything and are over here, they got sent back to a country that they don't even know of or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
There was that Asian lady who was.
Yeah, but rightly so. Why are they sneaking in?
No, I'm not saying they. Like, you say, like, if you was black, yeah.
But yeah, hypothetically,
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Raven rejected that instantly. Hypothetical or not, it was like, no.
Okay.
No.
But you see, like, you had children, yeah, and they were born here, but you wasn't born here. Do you know that they were sending children back to where you came from? You came here and your children were born here, like, and they were sending them back. There's stories of that. But let me, while you're thinking on that.
With the mother or not the mother?
Without the mother.
So how was the mother allowed to
I don't
stay?
even know what happened with the mother, actually. I just know they were sending
I've
them
seen
back.
I've seen some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because, they were old and there's a story out there anyway. But anyway, what was I going to say? Are they happy to call us Black British? Or are they just trying to make us feel like they're happy to call us Black British? Because
so I would say that the majority of British people are very tolerant, actually.
I agree with you.
And I think that's why we've got the conflicts that we've got with identity politics that's now took us backwards, right? He would probably disagree with that. And I would say that most white people were quite happy to have Black British as long as they embrace Britishness. Right.
So just to be more clear, whether you're Black British or you say you're English or all this kind of stuff, I'm talking about black people. So you can be a British citizen with a passport and say you're British and be a black person. What I'm pushing for is for those people to work with other of those people to form solutions, because those people are collectively inadequate. That's what it is. Sounds shocking, but it's actually, I'm saying is correct or not.
To me as a
and this
white
whole conversation
person,
demonstrates that. Go ahead.
To me, but what it sounds like when you talk is that you use that mask of pretending that you want to uplift black people. And there's probably a part of you that does, right? But you use that arch to actually push your underlying agenda, which is to depress white people.
Oh, this is very important. So remember, this is why I always tell black people, we're not going to listen. As a strategy, don't mention non-black people when you do black things, because once their name is mentioned, it's like a spell. They'll come in and then they'll say that you're not trying to help black people, you're trying to destroy us. That's an interesting thing to, like.
So basically, being pro-black is anti-white.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Not always.
And that's why. That's why I say,
leaks,
watch this. This is important. Thank you again. Black people are collectively inadequate. Why is that? Because now, as a collectively inadequate people, how can I think we're better or trying by anyone? Right? There is no rule that I've pushed that says harm or hinder.
Okay, so let me
people.
give you an example, right? There was this thing called Pound Day, right? You
Black
both,
Pound Day.
Wonderful
right,
idea.
you're both
10 points,
you're
10
all
points
aware
for
of
that.
it, right?
Very good.
And I went
Sorry,
on
just
to
quickly, just stick that point. How are we for Jupiter's angle? Because she's insisting on swiveling. Are we all right capturing her on the camera? Yeah. Cool.
There's no good side. Maybe it's a good side. Go ahead.
Right. No, so you had this Black Pound Day, and at first I couldn't understand it, right? Because to me it was very segregational, and I went on to Jedi's and another show, and I had conversations, and I finally realised that actually what they wanted to do was promote black business, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, so why aren't you promoting black business? Why have you got to make it about exclusively black? Because that's not promoting it.
I never saw Black Pound Day say anything about exclusively black. I think they just focused. For instance, I took my children to a Japanese expo at the Kensington Olympia, right? Massive, thousands of people there. Japanese expo. I didn't see one person saying, "Hold on, so where's the Ghanaian expo?"
I was gonna, yeah.
You understand?
Remember, black people collectively have no friends, and what I'm saying is, when you come with that, you're married to a black man, but when you come into our circles and stuff, I know in your heart, I'd like to think that you mean very well, but by osmosis of how you've raised up and how you perceive the world, you will cause tremendous damage, and the way you speak now is demonstrating that.
No, so that might you might believe that, and that's fine. I'm not going to sit here because I can't tell you how to perceive me, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right, so
I can think about what you've said.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but that's not my intention at all.
Oh, no, I don't believe it is.
And also the fact is that I can see sometimes that all right, so you say that black people collectively are inadequate. That would include you. I don't think that you are definitely thinking laterally, because if you put out a message and the way that you promote the black businesses sounds like you're promoting segregation and division, which is how it's coming across, whether you meant it or not, to the white community, you are reducing immediately a much larger footfall for your store. Because me, myself, right, let me give myself...
I would agree in that as well.
Let me give you an example, right? Because I've got mixed kids, right? I go into black shops anyway for their hair care, for their skin products, even for my husband, right?
So you're picking up the DAX here? You're the one grabbing the DAX?
Right, so when I heard these people saying, oh, these shops, and they were sounding like it was exclusively for the black people, you know, and we're going to have a vibrant day just for us. I was like, fuck you. Do you know what? Fuck you. I ain't bothering no more with the local shop.
Why though? Because if it's saying it's exclusive for the blacks and you have a black husband, you think, you know what? This is where I'm going to get stuff for him. For instance,
because if I had people like him on the sideline,
partner, and there was a shop that popped up in my area, Korean Day, all Korean businesses are in this fair, blah, blah, blah. I might be like, you know what, I'm going to go there to get something for my Korean partner because it's specialising in something for her.
Yeah.
I don't need to feel excluded, like, what, you don't want Nigerians in there? I think this is part of what Raven has spoken about over the years in terms of you feel like to be pro-us is to be anti-you, or that feeling of exclusion.
That's how it come across, a Jedi. And then when you've got somebody like him that constantly wants to tell you you're not being helpful, you're not being meaningful. I'm not trying to be rude. I mean that might be how it comes across, and you might be making valid points.
I think it's above
right. But when you've constantly got people doing that, you start to get defensive, right? And I think especially when you come from a mindset of somebody like me, which again is why I came down to Speaker's Corner. I got defensive. Why are you doing it just for black kids when the whole community is suffering at working class level? Right?
Can I ask on that? Sorry. If it was a white... There's two questions. Let me just ask the first question, which is nothing. Because we did touch on your mixed race kids, and if I see them as black or anything. Do you see your mixed race kids as black?
No,
only?
I see them as mixed race.
Okay, thank you.
So I see them as mixed race English/British, because we're English people are not allowed to say they're English no more. Okay. You know, they're supposed to just say British. All the rest of them can say that they're Scottish, Welsh and Irish, but us English, no, it's got to go.
So am I correct in saying it would offend you if I just say, oh no, your kids are black?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it depends. It depends, right? And this is where the nuance comes in, right? And I understand it. If they were celebrating something that is traditionally black, and they said your kids are black, they're being included. Well, obviously, I'd want them included because it's their culture.
They'll be included. I wasn't talking about inclusive. I think they're part of the black community.
Right.
But you have to understand.
It's about how people self-identify and whatever. And it's very important, as a mother of these children, I feel like there's no way we can deny how a mother identifies her children. Even if we got our own views, it's interesting to hear how a mother sees it.
But Jedi, if my children were born by me in Nigeria, I would call a mixed race Nigerian.
Listen.
But
listen, when you're two members of the black community, when you see an Asian appreciation or Asian awareness of it, how do you feel threatened in any kind of way?
No. That's what I was gonna ask. That was my second question.
No.
You know,
I don't see them.
You know, when you said why just for the blacks. Why that question? Because if it was a white community, I wouldn't say. And I've seen lots of,
What do you mean by an Asian appreciation?
So I remember one woman rang me and she was asking for some help for something. But I said, where? She's I'm at the Asian sport something where there's because
we got BBC Asia.
Yeah, all this kind of stuff.
We got BBC Asia.
Yeah,
in
but
the
you've
UK,
got BBC Nigeria, Pidgin English.
But not in the UK. It's in Nigeria.
No, in UK.
But I'm particularly
okay.
representing collective bodies of groups. So Asia is a collective body, and black is synonymous with Africa, whatever it might be, right? So
yes, to answer your question, I didn't know of any, but if I knew of something that was exclusively Asian, yes, I'd be offended. Right.
So and that's what it is. It's like if you are something, you can point something for what you are.
I think that may be something that's cultural British wise, right? And I'm gonna explain this. Not because we're white, but because of the mindset of a British person. We believe that the land we live on, no one should be able to tell you can't walk on any street unless it's a private road.
So just
Right?
so you know,
why
Pound
should
Day-
there be little seclusions for Asians over here,
But
Chinese
no one,
over there?
even if they are little
get- I
seclusions,
get that,
nobody.
you know.
No, wait, though. Even if they are seclusions, no one says you can't go there. For instance,